Good afternoon. Today is the 12th of April 2022. Welcome to Lunchtime News here on TV1. For the News First team, I'm Sanitha Senanayaka. News First, where the people come first. Let's first take a look at the headlines.
Sri Lanka to suspend debt servicing and to restructure debt. People's protest continues despite inclement weather. Maha Sangha takes to the street in support of the government. Why did Shantha Bandara accept the state ministerial portfolio?
ස්වාධීන වුණ මන්ත්‍රී කණ්ඩායම උත්සාහයක් දැරුවා තර පාලන ආණ්ඩුවක් බිහි කරන්න.
2022 FIFA official theme song launched.
Taking a look at a headline-making story, Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe says Sri Lanka will suspend normal debt servicing and start negotiating debt restructuring. Speaking at a media briefing which was held at the Finance Ministry premises this morning, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe said the CBSL has decided to resort to a preemptive negotiated default of the foreign debt, whilst pointing out that when the government serviced the previous international sovereign bonds, there were many requests not to settle the debt but use it for other matters. The CBSL governor said this measure would be a positive step towards the future. Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe has further said, quote, "We have come to a situation where the ability to service our debt is very low. That is why we decided to go for a preemptive default," end quote. The CBSL governor further pointed out that the scarce foreign currency reserve should not be used to service debt, adding that it should be instead used to purchase other essential items. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has also decided to reduce the mandatory conversion of the foreign earnings from commercial banks to the CBSL from 50% to 25%. The central bank governor said the balance 25% will be used by the banks for essential imports. He urged overseas Sri Lankans to send money to Sri Lanka only through official channels. He said those monies will be used for the purchasing of essential and will not be used for debt servicing. Moving on, the protest staged by the people opposite the President's office is continuing for the fourth consecutive day. We are now joined by News First's Hassan Shazuli, who is in Galface right now. Hassan, tell us, what is the ground situation there?
It's the fourth day of protests opposite the President's office here in Colombo. We can see hundreds, if not thousands, of protesters gathering here. They're holding placards and chanting slogans demanding the government to resign. They have been criticizing the President and all the lawmakers in Parliament, saying that they have mishandled the crisis that has affected the country. Now, a remarkable feature of this demonstration is that these protesters have organized themselves in a very organized manner. We can see that they have lined up on one side of the road to organize the demonstration, and they have also ensured that they don't obstruct the movement of vehicles along the road opposite the presidential secretariat. As you can see on the background, vehicles that are passing through this area are honking horns in solidarity with the protesters. Since we arrived here this morning, we have also seen that several tents have been set up a few meters away from the demonstration site. People have turned that into a camping ground. They have been here for the last 4 days, saying that they would not go home until the government or the President resigns. We have also seen that mobile washrooms have been set up at the location. There are medical huts as well, and a continuous supply of food and water. News First will continue to keep you updated with the latest developments coming in opposite the President's office. I'm Hassan Shazuli signing off from Colombo.
Thank you, Hassan, for that comprehensive update. Moving on, several popular artists, including veteran musician Nanda Malini and Professor Sunil Aryaratna, were also seen at the protest site in Galface today.
Hari මේ තරම් ජනතාව පීඩාවට පත්වෙච්ච අවස්ථාවක් අපි දැකලා නැහැ. ඒ කොච්චර ජනතාවට පීඩාවට පත් වුණත් මේ පාලකයන්ට ඇහෙන්නෙත් නැහැ, පේන්නෙත් නැහැ, දැනෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. මේ අක්කු ගල් ගිල්ලා වගේ බලන් ඉන්නවා.
The heavy showers made it difficult for those who gathered to protest last night. However, the people did not back down. The voice of the people continued to echo across the Gulf-faced screen despite the torrential downpour. The people who gathered at the location yesterday added a different experience by singing songs. The demonstration turned into a musical evening. The youth of Sri Lanka say that love was added to the struggle to reach the goal with restraint without provocation. It was reported that a young individual named
Meanwhile, more protests were staged in many parts of the island today as well.
It was held this morning opposite St. Sebastian's Church in Katuneria, Maravilla, with the participation of the fathers and sisters of the Wennapur district. A group of lawyers protested in Bandaravela.
Meanwhile, the Maha Sangha and several social media activists marched from the Nelumpokana Theatre in Colombo this morning.
The march was held on the theme, "Do not be deceived by false struggles to place the hand on Sinhala Buddhist mandate." The march was organized by the Ratavenuin Api organization.
Meanwhile, Sri Lankans living in foreign countries are continuing to add their voice to the protests against the president and the government.
A protest organized by Sri Lankans in Watford was held.
අපි ඩොලර් එවනවා විතරක් නෙමෙයි. අපි ස්වච්ඡාවෙන් ඇවිල්ලා ලංකාව කොට ගන්න වැඩ කරනවා කියලා එවැනි හොඳ පාලන තන්ත්‍රයක් ඇති කරලා අපේ උදව්ව ගන්න යාන්ත්‍රණයක් කොට නැගුවොත් අපි ලංකාවට ඇවිල්ලා උදව් කරනවා.
While issues faced by the people are yet to be given an answer, another state minister was sworn. Shantha Bandara of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party was sworn in for the vacant post of State Minister of Agriculture that was available after the resignation of former State Minister Shashindra Rajapaksa. The President requested everyone to take over the responsibility of carrying out government functions, but no political party in Parliament took over the task. Anurakumara Disanayaka, Ranil Wickramasinghe and Sajith Premadasa did not take up the responsibility. Even the Tamil National Alliance did not step forward. The group of independent MPs, including the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, which I represent, tried to establish an interim government. We are unable to succeed on that front. As an elected public representative of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, I decided to take on the responsibility regardless of the return.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් අලුත් අන්තර්වාද පාලනයක් ඇති කළ යුතුයි. එහෙම වැඩ පිළිවෙලක් ඇද්දී ඔබතුමා මෙහෙම අමාත්‍යවරයෙක් බාරගත්ත මේ වැඩ පිළිවෙලට බාධාවක් නෙමෙයි.
ඒ උත්සාහය අසාර්ථකයි.
That attempt failed. If someone wants to establish an interim government, they must directly take over that responsibility. We will have a meeting with the IMF next week. If the IMF demands political stability before providing their assistance, what will be our answer? My decision is the first step of the turning point in this country to bring political order.
මම මේ තීන්දුව ගත්තේ රට ස්ථාවර කිරීමේ හැරුම් ලක්ෂයේ පළවෙනි හැරුම තමයි මම මේ කළේ.
දැන් මේ ආණ්ඩුවම තමයි ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන්න හදන්නේ අලුතෙන්. ඒකට මේ අලුත් විසඳන්න කොහොමද උත්තරම වෙන්නේ?
මේ එළියට බහලා ඉන්න කණ්ඩායම් වල ප්‍රධාන ඉලක්කය බලාපොරොත්තුව තමයි.
The main objective of these protesters is to rescue the people from this pressure. Therefore, our government must act to provide the fuel, gas, electricity, fertilizer to the people and reduce the cost of living. Only by providing solutions to these issues will we be able to provide relief to the people. Sacrifices must be made for that.
මේ කරුණු පහට උත්තර අනිවාර්යෙන් සැපීම තුළ තමයි මේ ප්‍රශ්න වලින් එහෙම නැත්නම් මේ පාරෙන් ජනතාව ගේට ගන්න පුළුවන්කම ලැබෙන්නේ. ඒ වෙනුවෙන් කැප වෙන්න ඕනේ.
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party has decided to strip Kurunegala District MP Shantha Bandara from all party positions with immediate effect. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party national organizer Duminda Disanayaka said that Shantha Bandara will no longer function as the SLFP's spokesperson, Yapahuwa electorate organizer, central committee member and the deputy secretary of the party. In more local news, Defence Secretary General Kamal Gunaratne says the National Security Council did not convene a meeting on the protest staged opposite the President's private residence in Mirihana. Issuing a statement, the Defence Secretary refuted such allegations. While elected leaders are trying to maintain their position of power, people continue to experience the brunt of the economic crisis. Doctors say the hospitals are facing a major shortage of medicine. A solution is yet to be given to the gas and fuel crisis. Queues to purchase fuel were seen in many parts of the island today as well. Chairman of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, Sumit Vijay has said that the increase in the daily consumption of diesel is the reason behind the shortage. The chairman further stated that there are sufficient stocks of petrol in the country. He said steps have been taken to import 265,000 metric tons of diesel and 140,000 metric tons of petrol. However, even with the Sinhala Tamil New Year nearing, people are still queuing for gas and fuel.
People have been staying in queues since 3 this morning at the Maha filling station to obtain fuel. A tense situation arose at a filling station in Uhana where diesel was not distributed even though there were stocks of diesel available. Due to the tense situation, movement in the Ampara-Uhana main road was disrupted. However, the OIC of Uhana intervened and controlled the situation. Long queues at the Batiklo filling station were observed since last afternoon. However, by 10 in the night, they had run out of fuel. Due to this tense situation, the Aryampathu road was blocked. A long queue to obtain diesel was witnessed at a filling station in the Maha town. Employees at the filling station said even though there were stocks of petrol and fuel last night, they had not received sufficient stocks for today.
අපි හැමදාම පොලිමේ ඉති. අවුරුද්දට මිනිස්සුකින් කම් රට යන්න ඉන්නේ. තෙල් ටික දෙන්න ඕනේ ඉති. එංගල් ලේකෝප වෙන එක විතරයි වෙන්නේ මත ඒක.
දරු තුන් දෙනෙකුත් එක්ක ඇත්තටම පුදුමාකාර දුකක් විඳින වෙලා තියෙන අපිට. එපා වෙන මේ ජීවිතේ නා.
The gas shortage, similar to the fuel shortage, remains unresolved. Most of the houses in the suburbs do not even have gas to make sweets for the new year. Even today, people had to wait in queues for hours to get a gas cylinder. Heated situations were reported from several areas.
Residents of the Nagoda area in Gaul staged a protest in front of the Nagoda police this morning demanding gas. Vehicular movement on the Nagoda Mapalagama Road, Nagoda Baddegama Road and Nagoda Vandurama Road was disrupted due to the protest. Residents of the area staged a protest this morning blocking Sumangal Mawatha in Askiriya Kandy demanding gas. Our correspondent stated that these people had been waiting in queues for 4 days for gas. The group dispersed after Kandy police arrived and promised to provide gas today. A tense situation occurred at a gas distribution center in the Valigama area yesterday. This was due to the closure of the gas distribution center by the seller, who distributed only 140 of the 190 gas cylinders received by the shop to the public. Our correspondent noted that people had been queuing for about 3 hours to obtain gas. After the owner arrived, the gas was distributed with the intervention of the police. Meanwhile, a long queue was seen at the gas distribution outlet in Vaunia as well.
People across the country are facing severe economic problems. Especially low-income earners are dealing with much difficulties during this time. Income families cannot bear the high cost of living. Gammadda has taken steps to support them by giving dry food rations made to spread joy during the New Year season. Gammadda Smile initiative aims to distribute dry rations across 25 districts and is powered by the generosity of fellow Sri Lankans. Gammadda by the people, for the people. Up next is our Crime Watch segment.
Crime Watch.
A married couple was hacked to death in the Pallebadda area in Godakavela. According to information received by the police emergency response unit this morning, they were found murdered. When the son of the deceased came home this morning, he had witnessed the gruesome double homicide. The victims were an 82-year-old man and a 75-year-old woman. Police stated that the victims were engaged in a clothing business at the Godakavela market. Meanwhile, the body of a woman was found in the Maha River in Navayalathanna area in Katukastata. The 77-year-old woman is a resident of the Navayalathanna area. Katukastata police are conducting further investigations.
Crime Watch. News First with the people.
In international news, External Affairs Minister